three in the lineup.
I really feel like the middle of this LSU order has been heating up at the right time, and this is exactly when you want to do it, especially in this type of environment. So they are going to need hitters like Kylie Edwards to continue what she was able to do in last week's regional.
LSU will face the SEC Pitcher of the Year, making her 25th start, Jocelyn Brisky.
Jocelyn Brisky continues to be so impressive when she is out there in the circle. Look at her walk numbers. 20 walks on the entire season to 182 strikeouts. What that tells me is she's going to go out there and she is going to attack the zone right from the very first pitch of this ball game. So LSU is going to have to be ready on offense to get that bat off of their shoulders.
The fact that first pitch is at the scheduled time at 6:05 is nothing short of a minor miracle after the weather that moved through Alabama today. Here comes that first pitch from Jocelyn Brisky, and it's in there for strike one. 72 degrees, very humid as Jayla Lassiter steps in. It poured all morning into the early afternoon, but right now just overcast skies. We may get hit with a passing downpour. It's very tropical here, but right now dry at first pitch, and Brisky pounding the zone as she does so well ahead in the count 0-2.
Pounding the zone with 71 miles per hour, and it's not easy when she has the spin and movement that she does on her pitches to come in there with that velocity. It's going to be tough to battle back.
Off the plate for ball 1-2. Lassiter, second team all-conference selection in the SEC. 348 for the senior center fielder. 63 hits, 61 runs on the season. 3 for 11 in the Baton Rouge Regional. Sent out to left center field, hit well, and it is off the wall on the fly. Lassiter digging hard for second. It's a leadoff double for LSU.
I guarantee we're going to continue to see more and more aggressive swings from this LSU offense. This is one of the rise balls that she's trying to work up and underneath the hands. Not a bad location for this pitch. It's just a better swing. She gets her barrel out in front of her, and that's how she's able to time up this 70-mile-per-hour pitch and drive it off of the wall in the left center gap, and the heads-up base running, too, to dive into second.
14th double, 25th extra base hit for Jayla Lassiter, the senior from Atmore, Alabama. How about that, starting off here in Tuscaloosa as Sierra Daniel steps in. Sierra, two-year starter at second base for LSU. Looks at the ball and it's 1-1. 341 on the season, good for third on the team. Brings an 8-game on-base streak into the Super Regional round after going 4 for 11 with a couple of walks in the 3 games of the Baton Rouge Regional. 1-2.
You can see the way that the Alabama infield is set up too. Sierra Daniel is one of those left-handed batters that's going to read the defense. How are they set up against her? Because she can slap, she can bunt, and she can swing away. You see the left side of the infield taking a few steps back now in a 2-strike count.
Count now 2-2. Remember, it was 1-2 when Lassiter ripped the double off the wall to get things started for the Tigers here in the first. This is sent out to left field. Moving back on it is Vandergrift, the left fielder. Lassiter holds at second, 1 down.
I was curious for a second when that ball went up in the air if Jayla Lassiter was going to try to get back to second and tag, just purely because Audrey Vandergrift out in left field had to take a couple of steps back towards the wall to make that catch. So the momentum's kind of moving in the opposite direction, but I do think that that's the safe call, especially with as early as it is in the game, to go ahead and stay at second base.
1 down for Kylie Edwards. Fouls it off for strike one. Edwards leading the team and hitting at .349. First team all-conference selection in the SEC. Her first year with the Tigers after spending the last 2 with Mississippi State.
Had an unbelievable season so far this year for LSU, including hitting for the cycle against Missouri earlier this year.
First ever to do it in LSU's long history. Grounded, gloved at third. Taylor across the diamond, 2 down. These two teams tied for 13th nationally in fielding percentage at .976. They can play some good defense.
Seeing a great example of that. Ambry Taylor having to move to her right and jump up to make this catch. And remember, Kylie Edwards moves with really good speed going down that first baseline. But you know that plays like that have to give Jocelyn Brisky a ton of confidence, knowing she doesn't have to get a swing and miss every time because her defense is going to have her back.
Alex Franklin takes strike one. Cleanup hitter steps in there with 2 down. We welcome those of you who watched Nebraska pick up an 8-1 win over Oklahoma State. Game that started last night but finished today. We're in the top of the first inning here in the Tuscaloosa Super Regional. Eric Freed, Madison Shipman with you. Jayla Lassiter led things off with a double for LSU. But Jocelyn Brisky has battled back-to-back outs, now facing Alex Franklin ahead of the count 0-2. Brisky took a step towards the dugout, thinking maybe she had strike three against the cleanup hitter for the Tigers.
I think Jocelyn Brisky and the rest of the crowd here at the Rhodes House thought that one was going to be called for.
1 should be a familiar look for this Alabama team that swept through the Tuscaloosa Regional.
Brooke Wells, one of the transfers in this Alabama offense too, that has stepped into the Rhodes House in a seamless transition. She had 10 home runs last season with Houston. This year already up to 23 home runs, which is good for third most in program history at Alabama.
In the circle for LSU, she may be third on the staff in innings pitched and starts, but she is starting game 1 of the Super Regional, Peyton Monticelli.
We figured, too, talking to Coach Torino, that every single pitcher on this staff was going to play a role in this weekend Super Regional if they want to advance to the Women's College World Series. But Coach Torino has a ton of confidence in Peyton Monticelli, and she ended up getting the start in their regional final against Virginia Tech, who is a very, very good hitting team. And what stood out to me about that game is the fact that Peyton Monticelli got better and better as that game went on.
Retired the final 16 Hokies that she faced. Gave up 5 hits, but no hits after the second inning. So Torina goes with Monticelli instead of Jaden Heavener or CeCe Solera, who we expect to see this weekend, no question. But Monticelli getting the start here in game 1. Starting against Jenny Young, and it's 1-1.
I will say, too, I was a little bit surprised when I first saw that starting lineup. Now, I knew we were going to see a combination of all of the pitchers, but I assumed game 1, especially in this environment, that you were going to see either Jaden Heavener or CeCe Solera first. But Coach Beth Torina has so much confidence in Peyton Monticelli. And remember, Monticelli transferred over from Oklahoma, so she is somebody that has a ton of postseason experience, does not let the moment get too big for her out there in the circle.
2-1 is fouled off, and it's 2-2 to Jenny Young. 7th straight game at the leadoff spot for Young. 8 for 22 since taking that spot late in the season. Was 5 for 11 in the regional, including a couple of home runs in the deciding game 3, a 9-0 win over USC Upstate. Monticelli brings the 2-2. Count goes full. This is an Alabama team hitting .326 on the season. Good for 7th in the SEC. They can hit the long ball, 95 on the season. That's fouled off by Young. Transfers making big impacts for both these programs. Young, a transfer from Iowa, started the last 2 years for the Hawkeyes. Back up the middle, leadoff single for Jenny Young, her 6th hit of the NCAA tournament.
One of the keys to Peyton Monticelli's success when you go back to that regional final against Virginia Tech was her ability to mix speed. She's going to bring good velocity, high 60s consistently. We're already seeing examples of her working that rise ball at the top of the zone, but it's not just the changeup, it's the off-speed pitch too. There's an off-speed rise ball that she's been able to throw in there around 61, 62 to get batters out in front.
Pops up Brooke Wells. Tori Edwards calls for it. That's a big out right there because Wells leading the team in hitting, home runs, and RBI. First team all-conference selection, retired on 1 pitch.
I know it's just the bottom of the first, Eric, but it feels like this game is moving very, very quickly because we're seeing a ton of aggressive swings early in the count. It feels like the scout is out on both of these teams, that they're trying to get ahead early to these batters.
If you weren't with us at the very top, these 2 teams combined to give up just 2 runs in the regional round. LSU gave up 2 runs in their regional in Baton Rouge when they knocked off Akron and Virginia Tech twice. There's another first pitch swing. Papillo, foul ground. Hodge turned around to look for it, overran the ball, and it drops in. And Papillo will stay up there. Alexis, 396 on the season, 17 home runs, 58 RBI. You see her OPS 1281. She has been incredibly consistent all season long. It's been a huge jump for her this season as a senior.
You can see, too, when she gets into the batter's box, her toes are right up on the chalk line. She is challenging Peyton Monticelli by almost taking away the inside part of the plate. Oftentimes, too, Eric, you see that pitchers, when they see batters that are right up on the chalk line, they'll typically start to go away. I wonder here if Monticelli is going to try to challenge her back on the inside part of the plate, knowing that she does have that velocity to kind of play to her advantage.
2-1 to Papillo. 7-game on-base streak for the senior from Crystal Lake, Iowa. Second season with the Tide after transferring in from Northern Iowa. Line shot. Lassiter took a step in. It's over her head and off the wall. Being held at third is Young. She had to hold up just to see if Lassiter was going to make the catch. And Papillo has her second double of the tournament.
Second double of the tournament and 13th double on the season. She gets her front foot down early, and this is one of those rise balls that's working up and away to Papillo, but she is so strong and compact with her swing. There's not a ton of movement because she doesn't need it. She hits this one right on the money, back out to center field, and a bit of a misread by Jayla Lassiter out in center.
Here's Anna Roman, the freshman cleanup hitter, who takes strike one. In Lassiter's defense, because we have a good line of sight, that is the hardest ball for a center fielder.
Absolutely.
A line drive right at you. It's hard to know where to break when it comes off the bat.
She hit it so hard, it looked like that ball was maybe 10 or 11 feet off the ground right to her out in center.
Gets away from the catcher. Here comes Young with the game's first run. 1-0 Alabama.
With Alabama starting to pick up more and more momentum, you can just feel it here in the stadium, too. Everybody is on their feet. This is one of the change-ups or the off-speeds that you're going to see out of the hand of Peyton Monticelli. So it's about 59 miles per hour, and it just hits right off the end of Macy Bergeron's glove, goes all the way back to the backstop, and Jenny Young is all over it to score the first run.
It is a pass ball charged to Bergeron. Good off-speed, swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. To Roman, freshman right fielder at 319 on the season. Papillo at third with one down. This is for a ball. It's 2-2. We talked about Alabama shutting out their regional opponents. They outscored Upstate, Belmont, then Upstate again 20-0. You can see when Patrick Murphy's team scores first, they've been tough to beat. Roman right side. Here comes the runner to the plate. The tag by Bergeron is in time. Good play at second by Sierra Daniel. Made a good throw, and they cut down Papillo at the plate. 2 down.
This is a play that historically you see from this Alabama program. They're going to try to put pressure on the defense, even when the defense is playing up, expecting the runner to take off. Sierra Daniel knew immediately that Papillo was going to try to score on that ground ball to the right side, and a nice tag by Macy Bergeron to get Papillo before she reached home plate.
Chris Neighbors, our plate umpire tonight, making the call. 2 down for Marley Giles, who takes ball one. Giles having the best year of her Alabama career at the plate. Previously, her best season was hitting .305 as a sophomore. How about .377 in her final season in Tuscaloosa? Out of play.
That's really a common theme from a lot of the batters for Alabama, looking at last season or even the season before that coming into this year, is the huge jump in offensive numbers and even the way that they're swinging the bats too. You can just tell that there's a different level of confidence when Alabama steps into the batter's box this season.
1-1. Monticelli on the corner. It's 1-2. Peyton with 62 strikeouts in 76 innings of work coming into this Super Regional game. Giles lays off. It's 2-2. through the right side. Base hit. Roman will hold at second. And Giles has her third hit of the tournament. Third hit of the inning for Alabama against Peyton Monticelli.
When talking to Coach Murphy about Marley Giles before this game started, he said another reason for the success that she's had up at the plate this year is the plate discipline, forcing the pitcher to throw into the strike zone. Even when you get into a 2-strike count, that pitcher still has to bring it into the zone, and Marley Giles gets a good piece of that one to the right side.
This will give you an idea of how good this Alabama lineup is and how good they are at just passing the bat. Audrey Vandergriff, who was the leadoff hitter a year ago, and she was the leadoff hitter first half of the season. She's been in that 6th spot since just about the start of conference play, and she has been finding her swing. She was 4 for 11 in the SEC tournament, 6 for 9 in the Tuscaloosa Regional last weekend.
6 for 9 with a couple of home runs, too. She ended up going yard on pitches that were on the outside part of the plate and pitches that were way outside, too. She is somebody that has a ton of strength when she steps into the batter's box, along with the speed, and she can also lay down some pretty phenomenal bunts, too. So it's always a question of where do you play her defensively, because she can do a bit of everything.
The 1-1. Checked her swing, but third base umpire says she went around. Jenna Bullion not making any friends wearing crimson in the crowd here tonight.
Taking another look at it here. Let's see. Ooh. I don't know about that one, Eric.
The 1-2. 2-2. Back up the middle, past the dive of Edwards. 2-run score for Alabama. Heading to third is Giles. She's safe. Anchors the foot on the bag as she went in hard, and Alabama adds a couple of runs with 2 outs.
You'll just continue to see the aggressiveness on the base running pick up when you have 2 away. Audrey Vandegrift gets jammed up on this one, hits it right back up the middle, past the diving glove of Edwards. That is going to score 1 run easily, but then Marley Giles, look at her taking an extra base. It's the dive, it's the swim move, and then Eric, it is the foot finish. Keeping the right foot on the base the entire time.
All about sticking the landing.
That is a 10 out of 10 on that landing.
Third 2-strike hit of the inning. Roman scores to make it 2-0 Alabama. Giles at third, Vandegrift at first. Here's Ambry Taylor. RBI number 32 on the season for Vandegrift, and her 5th of the tournament. That's her 7th hit in 10 at-bats here in the NCAA tournament. Taylor couldn't catch up to it. Down the count 0-2. Freshman third baseman trying to find her swing again. 0 for 10 over the last 4 games. Was 0 for 7 in the regional. Monticelli gets the strikeout, leaves 2 stranded, but 2 score for Alabama in the bottom half of the first. And the Crimson Tide jump out to a 2-0 season.
They've gone through a ton of adversity, and even looking at the beginning of SEC play for this team. Starting SEC play 0-5, but she said that those trees, which I believe were named Sprout and Oakley,
yes,
right, if I have
Sprout
those correct?
and Oakley.
Now, I'm not sure which one is which, but I would say that they're both thriving at this point, but kind of have been a bit of a symbol of what this season has been like. So the tree that was planted through the rock and through the hard dirt and through maybe some injuries as they were trying to put the tree into the ground, that you didn't think would make it, battled its way through, and the oak tree is thriving, and here LSU is playing in a super regional.
Here's one of those players that has been through a thing or two, and it's Tori Edwards leading off here in the second inning. Redshirt sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas. Second team all-conference selection. Played just 3 games a couple of years ago, suffered an injury, and was struggling a bit this year. But Edwards perhaps finding her swing as we've gone along. Last 14 games hitting .405, bringing her average up from .248 off her foot. And it's 2-2.
She has one of those swings too. I know, Eric, you've heard me say this about a couple of different players across the country, but it also holds true for Tori Edwards. When she makes contact with the ball, it just
misses for ball one to Macy Bajaran. Senior catcher riding a 13-game on-base streak. Another one who was struggling, but finding her swing, as Madison mentioned at the top of our telecast in recent weeks. 1-1. Macy was hitting 175 on March the 28th. She's brought it up to 260 and is 6 for 10 in the tournament. The 6 hits a team high. 1-2.
One thing that's been different about Macy Bajaran's swing too, as you look through the rest of this season, before she had a big kind of leg kick where she'd hover her leg up in the ground. Now you're going to see it go straight down to the ground, no movement. And almost her back heel is facing towards the pitcher, almost facing towards Jocelyn Brisky. We got a chance to talk to her about it, just trying to eliminate some of that extra movement. And she said it was a big...
Lorenz, sophomore left fielder. Lorenz, 266 on the season, but she's been great in the postseason so far in the NCAA tournament. 4 for 7, 4 walks, 3 runs scored. One and one. LSU fouled behind Virginia Tech 2-0 in the regional championship in Baton Rouge, but scored 7 unanswered runs to win 7-2. 1-2 now the count to Lorenz. In the dirt, 2-2. Lassiter led off the first on a 1-2 pitch with a double off the wall, but since then, Super Regional appearance, that's the most, but it's the first time in 3 years that they've been home. Last 2 years they were on the road. Knoxville, they won that Super dramatically to advance to OKC, and last year they ran into the Oklahoma Buzzsaw in Norman. This year, Alabama has been the Buzzsaw. Madison Shipman, just 7 losses all season. What's been the common theme, the common thread for Alabama in your eyes all year?
Oh, one, it's been pitching. It's been the 1-2 punch between Vic Moten and Jocelyn Brisky out there in the circle, but also the offense. The offensive numbers that this team has been able to put up this season in comparison to last year. Last year as a team, they had 60 home runs, Eric. This year, coming into this weekend, they're a team that has 95 home runs. And they're a team that does not just rely on the long ball, but even talking to some of the players, I believe it was Vic Moten, the freshman, that had mentioned it to us yesterday. It's the versatility of this offense.
Salem Hawkins with a bloop to left, charging and making the catch is Lorenz. 1 down here in the second. Yeah, Vic Moten was the biggest fan and cheerleader for what Alabama has done offensively. Those 95 home runs, 9 shy of the program record, 104 set back in 2010. I think it's just, and you mentioned the versatility. They can beat you with their legs. That's always been the case with Alabama. They could string a bunch of hits together. We saw that in the first inning. They had 4 hits. Here's the number 9 hitter, Kristen White, and they do a great job of turning that lineup over, because here in the number 9 spot is a senior who's hitting .357 on the season.
And they've kind of changed the lineup around quite a bit when you look at the beginning of the season to now.
She's got great speed. Daniel knows it, makes the throw in time, quickly 2 down.
A lot of teams, too, are trying to find that right fit, the right pieces of the puzzle to put in certain spots in the order that's going to make the offense click. Now, to your point, Eric, this is a team that has only lost, 7 games on the entire season. They went through the entire conference play, only losing 1 series, and that series was to Tennessee, which is already a team that has already advanced to the Women's College World Series. But they're still just trying to figure out what is it going to take for them to be playing at their best at this time of the year. And they've been able to put everything together. The pitching, the defense, and of course, the offense.
Jenna Young with a soft liner to left, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Monticelli in the circle for LSU. Good bounce back for her, and we will talk with her head coach, Beth Torino.
It's a tough place to play, so I think just the first inning we probably played a little too fast, not our pace, so just have to go out and play our game. Peyton's incredible. She's had a great season for us. We're so proud of her. I know she's going to lead the way the rest of the game, but just needed to slow down a little bit, play our pace. Everybody's excited, so I think you'll see a different team from here on out.
We've already put in a good word with the LSU arborist for you, Beth. we got your back on that.
We may need them to come look at tree number 1, too.
Thanks, Beth.
We did see tree number 1
it's
does have a
rallying
new
a little
sprout.
bit. Yeah, it's rallying a little bit.
Little postseason rally, feeling it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that.
Maybe there's a postseason tree, regular season tree. They're both on theme either way.
Ready for the top half of the third. Allie Hutchins to lead things off. Swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Giles is going to run out of room. Was that on the fly or on the bounce?
I think it was on the bounce.
I'm going to give you credit, though, I mean, it's in your hands.
I think she went with the one-handed grab, though. The cell phone was in the left hand. Right hand went for the ball.
Yep.
Now she's given some instruction to the rest of the fans, too, to make sure that they're ready.
Maybe just put the phone in the cup holder so you have both hands. I don't know what to do with it. Get to keep it if you want.
She can work on her drop ball up there in the stands.
You would think coaching. 1-1 to Hutchins, 216 on the season, 2 for 8 with a couple of walks in the NCAA tournament. Sent foul, and it's 1-2. Allie, the junior transfer from Kentucky, played for the Wildcats last 2 years. Hit 285 a season ago. Same
like in the first inning, especially with that swing from Jayla Lassiter, that they might have been looking for that rise ball, looking for that pitch at the top, but Jocelyn Brisky has that drop ball in her back pocket that she can bring out at any time.
Off the glove of the third baseman Taylor. They say it's a foul ball. Looked pretty close. We'll see if LSU wants to challenge here.
Does that first bounce, it looks like it bounces on the chalk line and then continues to move further into foul territory.
But if it hits the chalk line, then hits her glove before hitting the ground again. We play on, though, as Hodge fouls it off.
Now, if it hit her glove when she was in foul territory, though, then that's foul ball.
Okay. Avery, the number 9 hitter, senior, plays third base, 2 for 7 in the Baton Rouge Regional with a couple of walks.
You can feel the energy just picking up here in Tuscaloosa, and the defense is just having to sit back and watch the Jocelyn Brisky show. This time, she goes with the low rise ball, kind of moving with a bit of arm side run away from the lefty, and it's another strikeout looking.
Misses for ball 1 to Lassiter, who has the LSU hit. It was a double leading things off in the first. Ground ball right side. It's not a strikeout, but it's another out. That's 9 in a row retired by Jocelyn Brisky since that double by Lassiter in the first. The SEC Pitcher of the Year is dealing.
To teach somebody with that natural upward movement to go down in the zone, but
So
that's exactly what he's done.
In practice, if the line isn't zigzagging, does that mean like you're getting the best that you can out of that pitch?
Yeah, he said he does not want that line to look cloudy. He wants to see that straight line moving in 12-6 rotation. You can see it with the way that Jocelyn Brisky's able to get that downward movement on her pitches. That's how she's able to get those swings and misses. And Vic Moten, who's standing right next to Lance McMahon in that dugout, she's somebody else that came into this Alabama program as a rise ball pitcher. And so he taught her that drop ball too. It's so important to be able to have that vertical separation, to have pitches moving in 2 completely different directions, because then you can kind of pick apart the opposing offense depending upon what pitches they're trying to sit against you when you're out there in the circle.
3-1 the count to Brooke Wells, leading things off for Alabama in the third inning. Wells popped out the first on the only pitch she saw in the first inning. Peyton Monticelli has retired 4 in a row since the RBI single by Vandegrift with 2 down in the first. 3-2 now the count to Wells. Celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to the first team all-conference selection in the SEC in her first year with Alabama, transferring over from Houston. Wells sends a fly ball. It's carrying. It's deep. Center field. Lassiter on the track has got it for out number 1. I must say, maybe you missed your calling. You could have been a pitching coach. I know you were an elite fielder, an elite hitter, and you made your living off of making pitchers pay, but I think you were paying attention to the scouting report on what the pitchers were throwing.
I don't think that you're allowed to throw pitches with 2 hands, though, and that's the only way that I can get that true 12-6 rotation.
I know you could do it. You were just doing it for emphasis.
It was really interesting, though, just hearing about the process and how it's quite a lengthy process for these pitchers, too, before they just get to go out there and stand on the rubber and throw a complete pitch. They start with an even smaller ball with a line on it and then advance to the regular-sized ball with the line on it.
That is hit out of play by Alexis Papillo. Count is 1-1.
But Coach McMahon wants them to be able to perfect the spin before they can even advance on to throwing in a full windup. And even from there, it's starting at 50%, building up to 60%. Then how many in a row can you throw with that perfect spin execution? So it's not by accident that these pitchers are able to develop a completely new pitch. It is work day after day and continuing to hone in on that craft. And Jocelyn Brisky, who we're seeing as a prime example of somebody who has continued to get better throughout her career, being named SEC Pitcher of the Year this season.
2-1 to Papillo. Misses from Monticelli. It's 3-1. Hit deep to right. Does it have enough? It does! Solo shot. Alexis Papillo, her 18th of the season. Alabama on top 3-0.
During this offseason, Alexis Papillo went to work. She wanted to be stronger. She wanted to see just how hard she can hit it every time she takes that bat off of her shoulder. And she ropes this ball out to left field. A 3-1 count, a great hitter's count, so you can take advantage of that aggressiveness. And she sends it out of the yard to the Brickyard at the Rhodes House. And shout out to our fan out in right field with that great catch.
Ground ball by Roman to Daniel at second. 2 down. For 96 for Alabama, their 7th of the NCAA tournament. I think for Alexis Papillo, it shows there were no days off in the weight room heading into this season. That thing got out in a hurry. Here's Marley Giles with 2 down. Popped it up, shallow left field. Kylie Edwards gives way to the left fielder Lorenz, and that will do it for Alabama in the third. But Patrick Murphy's team adds another run. All